Okay. I think we are live. See if anybody hops on here. Live on a Monday. Monday's the day that I basically go in and create all my podcasts for the week. I was going to go live every day, but that would mean I wouldn't be releasing that day's podcast until a lot later in the day or morning. But I like to put them out. They are actually published like at 5:30 in the morning Central Time. That's good for people on the East Coast. They're hitting it at like 6:30, and then the West Coast gets it a little later. I don't know if this is working very well, but here we go. Hey, hello, leaders. This is Paul Grau Jr., and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges. So today I'm still talking about John Maxwell's latest book, High Road Leadership. And this chapter is called Take Accountability for Your Actions. Now, this is chapter 9. Now, before I get into it, I just want to send out a happy birthday to my dad who's up in heaven. He would have been 88 today, I think. 88, something like that. Man, I can't believe he's been gone like 6.5 years already. But yeah, so anyway, I want to dedicate today's show to my dad. And but anyway, this chapter is all about taking accountability for your actions. Again, it's from John Maxwell's latest book, High Road Leadership. I highly recommend that you go out and buy your own copy of this because it is amazing. I basically have cruised through this book, and that's why I'm just giving you a little taste of each chapter. I don't want to give you too much because I want you to go out there and buy the book and read the whole book. Now, in this chapter, it's pretty cool because John starts right off the bat. And oh, by the way, if you want information in the show notes, you'll find information and a link to High Road Leadership. So anyway, John starts the chapter by stating that to take accountability instead of be accountable. And he explains how this is very different. The two of these are very different because he says one is basically accountability is passive, okay? Be accountable. That's passive. But John says accountability is not passive. It's active and intentional. Accountability must be demonstrated and it's continuous, he goes on to say. So I don't know, not much is how to in this chapter. It's more about what accountability is and what it means to take accountability and the positive impact that it can have on yourself and your entire team when you do take accountability for your actions and the actions of your team for that matter. So, the one section that really stood out to me is the section that explained how accountability and credibility are closely related. And they're tied together because accountability builds your credibility, according to John. Now, the more accountable you are, the more credible you are. And the more credible you are, John says, the more believable and trustworthy you are. Now, that's what really stood out to me because by taking accountability, it increases your credibility, which increases your believability and your trustworthiness. Now, this is super duper expensive. This is super important and probably expensive because as a leader, man, we need other leaders around us that are taking accountability, that are credible, that are believable, and that more than anything else, that are trustworthy. Because it's so important for leaders to surround themselves with great leaders, other great leaders who are trustworthy and believable and accountable and, credible. Because let's face it, leaders, we have our peers that are also leaders to go to, and we can go up. But we should never go down. All right. We should never be talking to our team about, some certain things. And that's where you need that connection. All of your leaders that are peers, y'all should be one solid team working together. And this actually starts all the way up at the C-suite. if the C-suite is not together and not locked in and really a cohesive team, it's not going to roll downhill any better. If there's problems at the top, there's going to be problems at the mid-level and at the frontline leadership and supervisory area. So we need to rely on our peers. And, you know, if nothing else, it's just somebody to talk to, somebody to turn to, somebody to seek advice from, and possibly, run something by. Maybe you're having a rough day and you just need to let some steam out. That's a great place to do it with a peer leader of yours, that leader team. So, you know, you need this peer leadership team. That's what I really work with. That's what I really love doing. That's why this area, that taking accountability, builds credibility, which in turn builds believability, and which in turn builds trustworthiness, is so important. So, if you don't have it, you're going to wish you had. And the biggest thing is just make sure that you're doing your part to take accountability. Because when you take accountability, you're not just sitting back and waiting for somebody to come to you and say, hey, are you accountable for this? Is this yours? No, you're taking accountability. You are active. You are intentionally going out of your way and take accountability for all the stuff that's going on within your team. And when your team sees that, they're going to have more trust in you. They're going to see that you are trustworthy and believable and credible because you have so much accountability. Hey, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this show, and come on back tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to talk about the bigger picture and how leaders see the bigger picture. Until then, run to your challenges. We'll see you. All right. That is a wrap. That's a wrap on this end. On the podcast, I'll go and do some sound editing on that, and I'm going to kill this live stream.